"Oh, I'll give you all my land. Just make me a mother," pleaded the abandoned bride to the rancher. The frontier planet of Arden. 6 was harsh, unforgiving, and beautiful in ways few outsiders could understand. Red dust stretched over jagged rocks, and the twin suns burned the horizon, casting long shadows over the sparse settlements scattered across the land. Among these settlements, the largest ranch belonged to Ronan Vey, a quiet man known for taming the most difficult lands on the planet. Ronan had lived here for 20 years, learning to read the weather, the soil, and the strange alien wildlife that occasionally roamed too close to the homesteads. Ronan preferred his solitude. He liked the silence of his ranch, broken only by the occasional lowing of his cattle or the hiss of alien winds sweeping through the canyons. But on this particular morning, the silence was shattered, not by wind or animal, but by a stranger on the horizon. Dust swirled around the figure as it trudged up the rocky path leading to Ronan's ranch. The stranger moved with a mix of exhaustion and determination. As she came closer, Ronan could see her, a woman in a long, tattered cloak, her dark hair messy and her eyes wide with a mix of fear and hope. She looked utterly lost, yet something in her posture suggested she had a purpose. Ronan stepped out of his small wooden ranch house, squinting at the newcomer. "Can I help you?" he asked, his voice calm but firm. The woman stopped and dropped to her knees, as if the ground itself were the only thing keeping her upright. She looked up at Ronan with eyes that were both desperate and pleading. "Please, sir," she said, her voice trembling. "I have nowhere else to go. I need your help." Ronan frowned slightly. Visitors were rare on Arden Tale. Ard, 6, and strangers even rarer. Yet, there was something unusual about this woman. He could sense it in the way she held herself, the quiet strength behind her fear. "Sit. Rest first," he said, motioning to a bench near the doorway. The woman collapsed onto it gratefully, her cloak trailing in the dust. "My name is Leora," she said after a moment, catching her breath. I was abandoned. My family left me behind, and my fiancé refused me. I have no one else. I have land, but no way to manage it. Please, I beg you, help me." Ronan studied her carefully. "You're offering me your land?" he asked, raising an eyebrow. "Yes," she whispered. "All of it. Just help me. Make me a mother. That's all I want. Please." Ronan's eyes narrowed. The request was strange. More than strange, it was shocking. He had heard many desperate pleas in his life, but this was different. And yet, something about her sincerity tugged at a part of him he rarely let others see. "You want me to what?" he asked carefully, choosing his words. "To help me have a child," she said, her voice firm despite her trembling hands. "I know it is unusual. I know it may seem impossible, but if anyone can survive here, if anyone can help me make this work, it is you, Ronan Vey." Ronan felt a flicker of curiosity. He had lived a life of solitude, taming the land and keeping to himself. He had no family, no one to care for except his animals and the ranch. But Leora, there was something about her that stirred him. Perhaps it was her bravery, or perhaps it was the sheer desperation that made her human in a way he had almost forgotten. "I don't make promises lightly," he said finally, "and I don't trust easily. I don't expect you to," she said, "and I have nowhere else to go. Please, consider me." Ronan studied the horizon. The red dust stirred again, and he caught sight of strange shadows moving across the hills. The alien wildlife of Arden 6 was unpredictable and often dangerous. Anyone surviving alone out here needed more than luck. They needed skill, courage, and intelligence. He looked back at Leora and saw those same qualities, buried beneath fear and exhaustion. "Very well," he said slowly. "I will consider it. But you don't just walk onto my ranch and demand things. First, you survive here. We work together. If we can find a way, then we can talk about your request." Leora's eyes filled with relief, and she nodded eagerly. "Thank you, Ronan. I won't let you down." The first days were not easy. Leora had never faced life on a frontier planet before. She struggled to adapt to the harsh conditions, the constant sun that dried the soil and burned the skin, the unpredictable alien creatures that sometimes wandered too close to the ranch, and the endless chores required to keep the land fertile. Ronan, patient but firm, taught her everything: how to herd the livestock, how to repair the fencing torn by alien storms, how to detect poisonous plants, and even how to track the movements of the strange alien predators that occasionally threatened the settlement. Despite her initial clumsiness, Leora showed remarkable resilience. She learned quickly, absorbing every lesson with determination. By the end of the first week, Ronan found himself silently impressed by her skill. She was intelligent, resourceful, and brave, qualities rare among settlers who often complained more than they worked. One evening, as the twin suns dipped below the horizon, casting long red shadows across the land, Ronan and Leora sat near a small fire outside the ranch. The air was quiet except for the crackling of flames and the distant calls of alien creatures. "You've adapted faster than I expected," Ronan said, tossing a small log onto the fire. "I had no choice," Leora replied, her eyes reflecting the firelight. "I can't survive alone. I won't survive alone. And I have to find a way to make my dream real." Ronan was silent for a moment. "And what if your dream fails?" he asked. "What if you can't have a child?" She looked at him steadily. "Then I still survive. Then I still fight. But I have to try, Ronan. I can't live without hope." The honesty in her voice struck him. Ronan had seen fear many times before, but he had rarely seen hope so fierce, shining through desperation. He realized that surviving on Arden 6 wasn't just about strength or skill, it was about heart. And Leora had heart in abundance. But Arden 6 had its own challenges beyond human survival. Within days, Ronan noticed unusual tracks near the edge of Leora's land. Tracks too large for any normal animal, moving in patterns that suggested intelligence. He had heard rumors among settlers of strange predatory species that had adapted to hunt in packs, and he feared Leora's land might attract their attention. "We need to prepare," Ronan told her one morning, kneeling near a set of deep claw marks in the soil. "These creatures are smart. They are dangerous. We can't underestimate them." "I can help," Leora said, determination in her voice. "I may not know everything, but I can learn." And she did. Together, they fortified the land, built barriers, and devised early warning systems using simple mechanical devices. Leora suggested modifications that even surprised Ronan, proving her intelligence and ingenuity. By the end of the second week, they had managed to repel the first attack of the alien creatures, saving both the livestock and themselves. Ronan began to see Leora not just as a desperate stranger, but as a partner, someone who could survive the frontier's dangers alongside him. One night, after the first major attack, Leora finally spoke of her plan. "Ronan, I need your help, not just to survive, but to achieve my dream. I know you're cautious. I know this is strange, but I have to try. Please, If anyone can help me, it's you. Ronan studied her, weighing the risks. Helping her meant more than protecting the ranch. It meant getting involved in something personal, something unpredictable. But he saw in her eyes the same determination he had always admired in humans. The refusal to give up, the courage to face impossible odds. "Very well," he said quietly. "We'll try, but I make no promises. You follow my lead, you survive the frontier, and then we see what we can do." Leora's eyes filled with tears, but this time they were tears of hope, not despair. She nodded, a small smile breaking through. "Thank you, Ronan. That is enough for me." As the twin moons rose over Arden, 6 casting silver light over the ranch, Ronan and Leora prepared for the challenges ahead. The land was harsh, the alien creatures persistent, and the future uncertain. But for the first time, both of them felt a spark of possibility. Together they could survive, they could fight, and perhaps they could build something extraordinary. The frontier was dangerous, yes, but it had never been more alive, more full of potential than with human determination and hope guiding the way. The days on Arden 6 were long, harsh, and unforgiving. Ronan and Leora woke before the twin suns rose, working tirelessly to manage the ranch. Ronan had taught her how to check the soil, mend fences, and herd livestock, but Leora quickly realized that survival here demanded far more than physical labor. She had to learn to read the winds, notice the subtle shifts in the terrain, and recognize when the alien creatures were near, even before the tracks appeared. Despite the intensity, she thrived. Leora had a sharp mind and an unusual knack for observation. Within a week, she noticed patterns in the alien wildlife that Ronan had overlooked. She predicted their movements, suggested new traps, and helped fortify the ranch against storms and predators. "You've got talent," Ronan said one morning, squinting at the horizon. "Most people couldn't handle this land. But you're different." "I have to be different," Leora said quietly. "I have no choice." One evening, a warning came in the form of strange howls echoing across the canyons. Ronan froze, listening carefully. He could tell the sounds were not ordinary animal calls. They were more intelligent, organized. "They're coming," he muttered. "We need to prepare." Leora followed him as he checked the fences and reinforced weak points. Together, they mounted simple but clever defenses, tripwires that triggered loud noises, small pits covered with brush, and barricades that could slow down the creatures. "They're smart," Ronan warned. "They don't just attack blindly. They watch, they learn. We can't underestimate them." Leora nodded, feeling a surge of determination. "We'll be ready," she said. The attack came at dusk. Shadows moved across the red plains, alien predators skirting the edges of the ranch. They were larger than any animal Leora had ever seen, with long limbs and glowing eyes that pierced the darkness. One moved with unnatural intelligence, directing the others, circling for weaknesses. "Stay low," Ronan shouted, herding the livestock toward the inner pens. "Don't make sudden movements." Leora moved as he instructed, heart pounding but mind focused. She tripped over a loose rock, but instinctively rolled out of the way as a predator lunged where she had been. Her breath caught, and she froze for a moment, but Ronan's steady hand guided her to safety. "You're fast," he said. "You're learning." "I have to," Leora gasped. "I can't fail." The creatures attacked for hours. Ronan and Leora worked in seamless coordination, using the traps and barricades they had prepared. Ronan used his knowledge of the terrain to lead the creatures into the pits, while Leora manipulated the noise triggers to confuse them. Their teamwork was natural, almost instinctive. At one point, a predator broke through the outer fence, its claws slashing the air. Ronan rushed to defend the livestock, and Leora acted without hesitation, picking up a weighted rope and swinging it with perfect aim. The creature toppled into a pit, growling, and the rest of the pack hesitated. They survived the night, battered and exhausted, but alive. The alien predators retreated into the darkness, perhaps deciding that this land was harder to conquer than expected. Ronan slumped against a fence post, wiping sweat and dust from his brow. "You did well," he said, quietly. "Better than I expected." Leora smiled tiredly. "We did well, together." For the first time, Ronan saw her not just as a desperate stranger, but as a true partner. Trust had begun to grow between them. Not the blind trust of friendship, but a hard-earned, earned-through-action trust that only the frontier could forge. The following days were filled with preparation and reflection. Leora worked tirelessly, repairing fences, reinforcing the pens, and improving the traps. Ronan noticed her determination, but he also noticed something else. Her knowledge of plants and animals seemed deeper than expected. "You know a lot about this land," he said one afternoon as they examined a damaged fence. "I've studied it," Leora admitted. "Not just for survival. I learned how to adapt the environment to help people. I've always wanted to make life better for those who struggle." Ronan nodded slowly. He was used to people talking, but rarely did someone's words match their abilities. Leora's actions proved her intelligence and resourcefulness, and he respected her more for it. But Arden, 6 had more challenges than predators. A sudden dust storm swept across the plains one evening, the sky turning a deep orange-red, the wind howling like a living creature. The storm tore at the fences, scattered the livestock, and threatened to undo all their hard work. "Get the animals inside!" Ronan shouted over the roar. Leora moved quickly, rounding up the frightened cattle, guiding them to the inner pens. She slipped on the slick dust and almost fell, but Ronan grabbed her arm, steadying her. "Careful!" he barked. "I'm fine," she said, brushing herself off. "We can do this." Together, they secured the livestock and reinforced the ranch house. By the time the storm passed, the damage was minimal, proof of their hard work and planning. "That was close," Ronan said, panting. "Most people would have lost everything." "Not us," Leora replied. "We survive." A few days later, Leora decided it was time to reveal more about her personal goal, the reason she had come to Arden. 6. She had avoided the subject since her arrival, focusing on survival, but she knew Ronan needed to understand her fully if they were to succeed together. "Ronan," she began cautiously one evening as they sat by the fire, "I need to tell you, I can't have a child the normal way. My genetics, they are rare. It's not impossible, but it's complicated." Ronan studied her face, seeing both fear and determination. "And you think I can help?" "I don't know," she admitted. "But I've seen what humans can do. I've heard stories of people surviving impossible odds, finding ways where there seemed to be none. If anyone can help me, it's someone like you, someone who knows the frontier, someone who doesn't give up." Ronan was silent. He had faced countless dangers on Arden. 6 storms, predators, failing crops, but helping someone achieve something so personal and uncertain was different. Yet, he respected her courage. She had faced abandonment, danger, and despair, and still she refused to give up. "Very well," he said finally. "We'll figure it out. But you have to promise me one thing." "Anything," Leora said immediately. "You follow my lead," he said. "No shortcuts. No reckless risks. If we're going to survive and succeed, we do it together, carefully, step by step." "I promise," she said, her voice steady. "I'll follow your lead." Trust deepened between them after that. Leora worked harder than ever, learning everything she could about the land, the animals, and even the alien predators. Ronan began to share stories of his own life, how he had come to Arden. 6. How he had lost friends and family to the dangers of the frontier, and how he had survived only through patience and ingenuity. By the end of the month, Leora had become more than a guest on the ranch. She was a partner, someone whose skills and intelligence complemented Ronan's. Together, they managed the ranch efficiently, the livestock thriving, the fences strong, and the land slowly becoming more productive. Yet both knew that this was only the beginning. Arden, 6 had more challenges to throw at them, and Leora's dream was still uncertain. But for the first time, hope felt real. Together, they could face the unknown, survive the dangers, and perhaps even thrive. The final challenge of Part 2 came unexpectedly. One morning, a messenger arrived from a nearby settlement, a young man riding a strange alien beast. "Ronan Vey," he called out as he dismounted. "Your land, it's unusual. People are talking. They say you and the stranger are keeping predators away, growing crops, surviving storms. They say Arden. 6 has never seen anything like it." Ronan exchanged a glance with Leora. The attention could be dangerous. It could attract unwanted visitors, people seeking to take advantage of their success. But it also confirms something important. Humans could adapt, survive, and succeed where others failed. Leora smiled faintly. "We're doing more than surviving," she said. "We're proving that humans can thrive even here." Ronan nodded. "Yes," he said quietly, "but we still have a long way to go. And the frontier is far from done testing us." As the twin suns rose high in the sky, casting long shadows over the ranch, Ronan and Leora prepared for the next challenge. The land was harsh, the creatures clever, and the future uncertain. But they had each other, and together they were unstoppable. Weeks passed on Arden 6, and life on the ranch had settled into a rhythm, one of hard work, constant vigilance, and slow progress. The livestock thrived under Ronan and Leora's care. The land was recovering from storms, and even the alien predators seemed to avoid the ranch, wary of the clever traps and coordinated defenses. Yet beneath this routine, a quiet tension simmered. Leora's dream, the one that had brought her here, remained fragile, uncertain. One evening, as the twin moons rose in pale silver arcs above the plains, Leora approached Ronan with a determined expression. "Ronan, I think I found a way to increase my chances," she said quietly. Ronan looked up from his work on a fence post. "Explain," he said. "I've studied the genetics of humans and plants," she began. "I've read about old Earth techniques, and I've seen research about fertility technologies. If we combined some of these methods safely, we could slow down." Ronan interrupted.
You mean, like experiments?
"Not experiments," Leora said quickly. "Careful, controlled, and safe methods. I've prepared everything. We don't have to risk anything dangerous, but we need equipment, and we need knowledge. And I think the frontier scientists near the northern settlement could help." Ronan paused. The northern settlement was small and isolated, but it was home to a few human scientists who had remained on Arden 6 after the first wave of settlers. They were known for their intelligence, resourcefulness, and, most importantly, their ability to work with frontier conditions. "Then we go north," he said, "and we bring your plan to life. But we must be careful. The frontier doesn't forgive mistakes." The journey to the northern settlement was challenging. They rode through jagged canyons, across red plains, and over rocky ridges, avoiding predators and unstable terrain. Along the way, Ronan tested Leora's survival skills. She navigated dust storms, found water in dry riverbeds, and even predicted the behavior of alien predators they encountered. "You're improving fast," Ronan said one evening as they set up camp near a narrow canyon. "I didn't expect you to be this capable after only a month." "I told you," Leora said with a faint smile. "I have to survive. I have no choice." By the time they arrived at the northern settlement, both were exhausted but determined. The settlement was small, a cluster of reinforced buildings surrounded by terraces of carefully grown crops. Despite the isolation, it was bustling with scientists and settlers, all working together to make the harsh planet habitable. The head scientist, Dr. Pararin, Maid Professor Kale, welcomed them with cautious curiosity. "Ronan Vey," he said, studying the pair, "and you must be the stranger causing rumors on the frontier." Leora stepped forward. "Yes, sir. My name is Leora. I've come for guidance and support. I have a plan that could work, but I need help." Dr. Kale studied her carefully. "A plan? On Arden? On Arden. On 6. Plans are rarely enough. You need skill, knowledge, and resilience. Do you have all three?" "I do," Leora said firmly. "And I have someone helping me who knows the land." She looked at Ronan, who nodded in silent agreement. Over the next several days, Leora worked closely with Dr. Kale and his team. Together, they examined her genetic profile, studied fertility-enhancing techniques, and adapted old Earth technologies to fit the frontier conditions. Ronan assisted as needed, using his practical knowledge of the land to create a safe, controlled environment for the procedures. "It's remarkable, Doctor," Kale said one morning. "Your genetics are rare, but not impossible to work with. If we follow this method carefully, there's a good chance it will succeed." Leora's heart lifted. For the first time, her dream seemed within reach. She dedicated herself to the plan, learning everything she could about the techniques, safety protocols, and equipment. Ronan, always cautious, watched over the process, ensuring that no step put them in unnecessary danger. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, the alien wildlife was becoming more curious. Smaller predators tested the boundaries of the land, probing the fences and traps. Ronan instructed Leora to stay at the northern settlement for now. He would handle these challenges while she prepared for the procedure. Even from a distance, Leora found herself thinking about the land she had left behind. The ranch wasn't just soil and fences. It was hope, a chance to survive and thrive on Arden 6. She resolved that no matter what happened, she would return stronger, ready to make her dream real. One night, as Leora studied the equipment under the dim glow of lanterns, Dr. Kyle approached her. "You have more than determination," he said. "You have creativity. Most people would give up long before this. You remind me of the settlers from the first wave. They didn't survive just with machines. They survived with brains, courage, and persistence." "I have to," Leora replied softly. "There's no other choice. I have to succeed." Dr. Kale nodded. "Then we'll succeed together. Human ingenuity is what makes us thrive, even on worlds like Arden 6. Back at the ranch, Ronan faced a new test. A group of alien predators had discovered a weakness in the outer fence. This time, they moved in coordinated packs, clearly learning from previous attacks. Ronan had to rely on every ounce of experience and creativity to protect the livestock and the land. He set traps, used decoys, and studied the creature's behavior. For hours, he fought against the relentless pack. At one point, he nearly slipped on a rocky incline, but his instincts saved him, and he managed to lead the creatures into a series of clever traps he had devised. The ranch survived, though it was a close call. Later that evening, as he repaired a damaged fence, Ronan allowed himself a rare moment of reflection. Humans had survived this harsh planet for decades, but the frontier demanded more than endurance. It demanded ingenuity, courage, and trust. Leora had all three, and together, they were unstoppable. Finally, the procedure was ready. Leora and Dr. Kale worked carefully, following every protocol. Ronan, though not directly involved, supervised, ensuring that safety was never compromised. The process was delicate, precise, and tense. Every step mattered, and mistakes could be disastrous. Hours passed. Leora remained calm but focused, relying on everything she had learned. Ronan watched silently, impressed by her concentration and resilience. For the first time, he realized that hope and human determination could overcome even the most uncertain odds. At last, the procedure was complete. Leora sat back, exhausted but exhilarated. Dr. Kale smiled. Everything went as planned. The chances of success are high. Now, we wait. Wait? Leora asked.
Yes, Dr. Kale replied.
Nature and technology will do the rest. And if it works, you'll have what you've been dreaming of. Leora felt a surge of joy and relief. She had faced the frontier, the predators, the harsh planet, and the uncertainty of her own body. And now, for the first time, the future seemed possible. On the way back to the ranch, Leora and Ronan traveled in silence, each lost in their thoughts. The land stretched endlessly, red dust glowing under the setting suns. Leora looked at Ronan, feeling a quiet gratitude. He had guided her, protected her, and trusted her in ways she had never expected. "You know," she said finally, breaking the silence, "this land, it's more than just soil and fences. It's hope. And we're proving humans can thrive here, even against impossible odds." Ronan nodded. "Yes, but the frontier is far from done testing us. We've survived the worst so far, but there's always another challenge." Leora smiled faintly. "Then we'll face it. Together." The twin moons rose over Arden, dusty. 6 silver light casting long shadows across the plains. The ranch was waiting, alive with potential and promise. And somewhere inside Leora, a small, steady heartbeat of hope grew stronger. A reminder that humans could conquer not just the frontier, but even the limits of possibility. As they approached the ranch, both knew that the next chapter of their lives would be even more challenging. But they were ready. They had survived storms, predators, and the uncertainty of the unknown. And now, thanks to human ingenuity, courage, and determination, they could hope for something extraordinary. The twin suns rose slowly over Arden, 6, painting the red plains in shades of gold and orange. Ronan and Leora stood outside the ranch, surveying the land. Months had passed since the breakthrough at the northern settlement, and life on the ranch had changed. The livestock thrived, the soil had improved, and even the alien predators had grown wary of the humans' clever defenses. Yet, for all their progress, Arden 6 remained unpredictable. The frontier was never fully tamed, and both Ronan and Leora knew that danger could strike at any moment. Leora herself had changed. Her health had improved, and a quiet glow surrounded her that Ronan couldn't ignore. The procedure had been a success. Her dream of becoming a mother was beginning to take shape. She carried hope in a way that was visible, not just to herself, but to everyone around her. "Ronan," Leora said softly one morning, "we need to expand the defenses. The predators are testing the fences again. I've been studying their patterns. They're learning." Ronan nodded. "I know. I've seen it. They're smarter than before." But we need more than fences. We need traps, decoys, and better early warnings. Together, they began fortifying the ranch once more. Leora applied her knowledge of alien behavior, predicting where the predators would strike next. Ronan used his practical experience, setting traps that leveraged the terrain and the creature's habits. They worked in perfect coordination, a partnership forged in survival and trust. By midday, the ranch was stronger than ever. The livestock was secure and the fences could withstand nearly any attack. But Arden, 6, had another surprise waiting. A low, rumbling sound came from the horizon. At first, it was subtle, almost imperceptible. Then the ground trembled beneath their feet. Ronan's eyes narrowed. Something big is coming, bigger than anything we've faced. The alien creatures had never moved like this. Packs converged into larger formations, and their behavior suggested coordination beyond normal intelligence. They were approaching in waves, testing the ranch's defenses and searching for weaknesses. Leora's heart pounded. "We can do this," she said, determination in her voice. "We've survived before. We can survive again." Ronan studied the horizon. "Yes, but we'll need every tool, every strategy, and every ounce of courage we have. Are you ready?" Leora nodded. "I've never been more ready." The first wave hit at dusk. Shadows moved across the red plains, alien creatures leaping and slashing at the reinforced fences. Ronan and Leora worked in tandem, using decoys, traps, and noise triggers to confuse the attackers. At one point, a massive predator broke through the outer fence, charging toward the livestock. Ronan leaped in front, diverting it with a calculated maneuver while Leora released a weighted net trap she had designed herself. The predator fell, growling but contained. Hours passed, each moment testing their endurance, creativity, and courage. Leora guided the defenses, instructing Ronan where to place traps and which animals to protect first. Together, they outsmarted the creatures at every turn. By nightfall, the attack had been repelled. The ranch survived, intact but scarred. Ronan and Leora stood together, breathing heavily, watching the predators retreat into the shadows. "We did it," Leora whispered. "We survived." Ronan nodded. "Yes, but this land will always test us. We have to be ready." The victory strengthened their bond. Leora's confidence grew alongside her pregnancy, and Ronan began to see the world in a new way. Humans were adaptable, intelligent, and resilient. Not just survivors, but masters of their environment when they worked together. Arden, 6 was harsh, yes, but humans could thrive here. Over the following weeks, Leora's health improved steadily. She trained carefully, maintaining her strength while avoiding unnecessary risks. Ronan taught her advanced techniques for managing the ranch, from predicting weather shifts to outsmarting predators. The land itself seemed to respond to their care, gradually becoming more fertile and productive. One evening, as they watched the twin moons rise, Leora spoke softly. "Ronan, I feel something growing inside me. It's more than hope, it's life. And I feel like we're not just surviving anymore. We're building something." Ronan looked at her, a rare softness in his eyes. "Yes, we are. And it's more than just the land. It's us, our courage, our minds. Humans thrive because we refuse to give up." The alien creatures returned again, more cunning this time. They attacked in coordinated groups, testing the limits of the ranch's defenses. But Ronan and Leora were prepared. Using a combination of traps, decoys, and quick thinking, they managed to protect the livestock while minimizing damage to the land. At one point, Leora devised a clever strategy. She mixed natural deterrents from the plants around the ranch with mechanical devices to create a protective barrier that confused and slowed the creatures. Ronan marveled at her ingenuity. "You've changed this place," he said. "You've made it stronger, safer, smarter." "Ah, humans can do incredible things when we put our minds to it." Leora smiled faintly. "We've done this together." As the weeks passed, settlers from nearby regions began taking notice of the ranch. They saw the thriving crops, the secure livestock, and the humans who had survived wave after wave of attacks. Some came seeking guidance, others seeking refuge. Ronan and Leora welcomed them cautiously, teaching them the techniques that had kept their land safe. The ranch began to grow into a small community, a hub of human ingenuity and resilience. Leora's pregnancy progressed safely, a symbol of hope and new beginnings. The settlers respected her courage and determination, seeing in her the qualities that had allowed humans to not just survive but thrive on ardent. 6. One evening, as Leora rested near the fire, Ronan approached her with a small bundle of tools. "I thought you might like these," he said, handing her a carefully crafted device designed to monitor the livestock more efficiently. Leora smiled, her eyes shining. "Thank you, Ronan. You've given me more than survival. You've given me hope. And soon, we'll have more than hope." Ronan nodded. "Yes. And whatever comes next, we'll face it together." The final challenge of Part 4 came when a massive dust storm swept across the plains. Unlike previous storms, this one carried strange electromagnetic pulses that interfered with their devices. The livestock panicked, fences threatened to collapse, and visibility dropped to almost zero. Ronan and Leora worked tirelessly, manually securing the animals, reinforcing structures, and guiding settlers to safety. Leora used her knowledge of the terrain to find safe paths, while Ronan used brute strength and quick thinking to stabilize the ranch. Hours later, the storm passed. The ranch had survived, battered but intact. The settlers cheered quietly, grateful for the humans who had shown them that survival was possible, even on the harshest planet in the frontier. Ronan and Leora stood together, looking at the land they had defended, nurtured, and transformed. "Humans thrive," Ronan said quietly, "not just because we're strong, but because we think, we adapt, and we refuse to give up." Leora rested her hand on her stomach, feeling the small life growing within her. "And soon," she said softly, "there will be another human thriving here, our child." Proof that hope, courage, and determination can overcome even the harshest worlds. The twin moons rose over Arden. 6. Casting silver light across the plains, the ranch was more than a home now. It was a symbol of human resilience, ingenuity, and triumph. The frontier had tested them, challenged them, and pushed them to their limits. But humans had prevailed. And as Ronan and Leora watched the quiet night, they knew that the next chapter, new life, growing community, and continued challenges, was only just beginning.